Well, good evening, good evening, and welcome to Gen Cares, powered by Chosen Counselors Back to School series. I am your host, Gen Cares, the founder of Chosen Counselors, which is a nonprofit organization that seeks to inspire, motivate, empower, and strengthen individuals and families. So thank you so much for joining us for our back to school series. As you can tell, I put on my little cap tonight. I had it for last week, but I forgot it, but she remembered today. All right. So I hope you enjoyed the honesty and love shared from Rashida Gary, the founder of Overbrook Little Learners last week. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much. And let me know when Gavin is ready to teach me some piano lessons with his sharp ear. All right. Okay, so tonight we are here with our second episode of the Back to School series, and it's going to be fun. The idea was to bring on some educators to give us some tidbits on virtual school, how to stay safe, what steps you want to take regarding your child's future grades, and just to share some words of wisdom to help us as we navigate and support the children of our future. All right? So tonight's guest is a sister friend indeed. I had moved back to Philly about 10, 11 years ago. And she was the first friendly face that I met when I started attending Victory Christian Center. And I'm just grateful to still know her. We celebrate each other still 10, 11 years later. She obtained her doctorate of education in education of leadership and administration from Widener. And I'm just so proud of her. And I am so excited to have her. So tonight, we are headed to the counselor's office, and we have Dr. Cindy LeGree. Please help me welcome Dr. Cindy LeGree.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you so much. How are you doing on tonight?
I'm doing well. Good to be here.
Same here. Okay. So how we normally start off is we have a quote of the day. And today's quote of the day is, "There is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs." Zig Ziglar. What are your thoughts on that?
I would say you can't reach the top fast. You have to take time and you have to go through the various steps. So in order to achieve your goals, there's different processes that you're going to have to go through. And so you don't want to get there fast. You want to go through the process because the process is going to develop you as a person. It's going to develop your character. It's going to prepare you for things that you're going to see in school. If you're in school, prepare you for your career because there's some challenges that you're going to have to face in your career. So every process and everything that you go through is all for your good.
Awesome. And sometimes we want to skip some steps, but if we skip too many steps, we mess up. That's like if we make a spaghetti and we skip this step of boiling those noodles, that's not going to be no good spaghetti, you know? We got to go step by step. So that's awesome. So as always, I have prepared some questions for Dr. Cindy. I like calling her Dr. Cindy. She probably doesn't get called doctor all the time, but I love it because I am so proud of her. But if any of my chosen friends have any questions, be sure to type them below and we'll be sure to answer them as well, all right? So let's get to it. But before we get into the questions, let's really go back to school. Can you share how the counselor helped you when you were in school?
So since we're going to be transparent, I'm going to be transparent tonight.
Okay.
And I would say that early on when I was in high school, I got pregnant as a teen.
Okay.
And so I went to a high school where you, if you missed too many days, you got kicked out of the high school. And I really loved the high school I wanted to go to because it was a special admit high school. And so my counselor sent me to a school or recommended that I go to a school for pregnant teens. And so I spent a portion of my high school time at that school so I could return to my school. You know, once I had my child, I could return to my school and continue without being kicked out because I missed too many days. So that really was my first real relationship with my guidance counselor. And because of that, I think that's how I've been so compassionate with my students when they, have issues in terms of pregnancy or different things like that, because I remember what my guidance counselor did for me to make sure that I was still successful. And then she also guided me through the college process. She made sure that I took my SATs, and when recruiters came in, she always thought about me. And the college I wound up going to, the recruiter was in the office. She pulled me in, and I actually got accepted to that college on the spot. So she always looked out for me. So she was really, really, really good.
Awesome, awesome. That's good to hear. You definitely want somebody that's compassionate, somebody that's going to bat for you. I would say my counselor in high school, she was the reason I guess I ended up going to University of Maryland Eastern Shore. I had never went to the college before, but she had a pamphlet in the office. I was always in there trying to find out new things as preparing for their process. She was very informative, gave me some information. I remember, the college fairs that they had. So it was really supportive to be able to have that counselor to be knowledgeable of the different resources that one has and then being available. It's a lot of students. It's a lot of different things going on. So that was really, really beneficial for that. So that's cool. Okay, so I got another question for you.
Sure.
What was your favorite lunch while in school?
Probably pizza. I think that was the best lunch was pizza. Most kids either like the pizza or the chicken nuggets. So same thing back in the day. It was either the pizza or the nuggets.
Hilarious. Yes, we would take the cheese off the pizza. Now, when it was Daryl, we used to get like this. We called it a space lunch, where it would be Slim Jims, like cheese and crackers or something like this little canned juice. We just thought it was the best thing ever. We were like trading things off. When it got to high school, it probably was the cheese filled pretzel that was probably like the best, which is nothing of food per se, but what we love the best. Oh, awesome. All right. So you shared that, how the counselor encouraged you and helped you to be compassionate with the students that you serve with. So could you tell a little bit more about why you got into this field?
So originally I was an Aggie. I wanted to be a veterinarian and I wanted to pursue agriculture. So when I went to college, I actually was a dairy science major. And then when I got to college, for some reason, it just wasn't for me. And so the college I was going to, Delaware Valley University, they were starting a criminal justice program. And another passion that I had was working with youth. And so I decided to go that route, and I'm glad I did. It's the best decision I made. I really enjoy what I do. I love working with young people. I love to see them thrive and also to let them know that they can make it regardless of the circumstances or the situations they're in. I come from a first generation low income background. And a lot of times students don't realize, they see you like, oh, you're a doctor, but they don't know where you came from or what your struggles were or what your family history is. So I just like to be an example to let them know, like, you can make it out and this is how you can do it. So that's really what made me want to, be a counselor.
And you share some of the pieces that you love, and it sounds like you really just love being able to help the students and support them.
Yes, I really do. Especially low income first generation students. I did my research on low income first generation students.
Okay.
Because a lot of times that population, I love teenagers, number one. That population is so misunderstood. People feel like they're getting smart a lot of times when they're just asking questions and they really, really want to know. Yes, they do have crazy temperaments, but when you learn how to communicate with them and understand where they're coming from, you can build a good relationship with them.
Agreed.
A lot of them don't realize that they have a voice. And so that's one of the things I try to teach my students is that you have a voice. So you're a consumer. And when you're in that school, we work for you. And a lot of times our students think that I got to do everything that I'm told to do. I can't ask no questions. I just got to follow the rules. But no, you can ask questions. You have a right to ask questions. Technically, I work for you. Right. And a lot of times people aren't transparent to say, if there's no student, there's no me. And so over the years, I've always told my students, I'm here to serve you. That's what my job is to do, to serve you to achieve the goal that you desire.
They're to serve us. What we need, they're there to help us. And that's your teachers, that's the principal, whatever staff that are there, they're there to help you and try to teach you something. So, in what role or how does your role support students specifically?
So with the current job that I have, I actually teach a course. It's a seminar course that I teach the students. Last year, I actually created the course.
Oh.
And so I had a mixture of 9th through 12th grade students.
Mm-hmm.
And so I taught them time management, study skills, and various things like that. So this year we continue with the course, but we made it a seminar course for all students, and we do it per grade. So before it was just me and my one class. Now
Okay.
all the students are in the seminar course.
Okay.
And so the students will get the same things that I taught before, the time management, the study skills, so on and so forth. So the goal is to prepare them for college. And so I teach a course at CCP that focuses on helping incoming freshmen navigate the college process. I've taught that at Dell State and Delaware Valley University. So it's a passion that I have. So now I'm brought into the high school, and that's something that they don't generally get in high school. They're not getting those type of lessons. They're not being prepared for what a professor is looking for. How do you write a professor? So I teach them how to write an email to a professor.
Okay.
Do not say yo, yo, or however, whatever attitude they have. So that's some of the lessons that they're taught, and so it's working out well. And we'll see what the end results are. We have our first senior class this year, so we'll see what these results, their end results, are as a result of this these classes being brought to the school.
Very nice. Very nice. How can students take better advantage of your supports?
So for the high school that I'm in, I'm always available. So, they can come to my office hours, so on and so forth. For anyone outside, like if they join Facebook, they can come. I post stuff on Facebook all the time. I try to do resources, or they can email me. I send resources to anybody via email. I'm really good with resources, and I like submitting or sending stuff to people. So they can always email me at cindy.legree at gmail.com, and I will send them resources. Or if they even be my friend on Facebook, then I post stuff all the time.
Got it. So you can always get some resources from Dr. LeGree, Dr. C. I love it. I'm so sorry. So, since we have been virtual, I hear often that children have not been signing into school. What's the good, the bad, and the ugly of that?
So I meet with all of my students. I do something called the ICP meetings, like an individual meeting where we talk about their career or college plan. And so that's one of the questions I do. That's one of the first questions I ask them about. How do you feel about going to school virtually? What are some of the challenges that you're having, so on and so forth? Everybody hates it. They miss being in school. They're missing their friends. We do have some students that don't check in at all. They're facing a lot of things. We have students who are now the breadwinner for their household. So they're like, I gotta work. I've talked to parents like, he has to be to work at 9 o'clock. And I'm like, school starts at 9 o'clock. So they've been working all summer and so on and so forth. And now the transition is kind of hard for them because they have been supporting their families and their parents and siblings. We have some kids who are online. They have to get their siblings online before they get online because their parents are not home. So there's so many challenges that these young people are facing, especially our teen population, that they're facing and dealing with. So we have to show a lot of compassion to them and understand that they're going through some challenges.
Right, that is definitely a challenge of finding this new norm. We have parents that are working from home, or parents that are able to go back, but they have the children that have to stay home because they can't go to the school, and that older child is the one that's trying to help get them together. Yes. So you're at a high school?
Yes.
So how can a counselor also, because the counselor is in middle school, elementary school, how can those counselors also support those children? Is it the same?
It's pretty much the same. One thing I do like about the school that I work for, we do have a mental health component. So we actually have a whole department that handles all of the mental health issues. So that's not something that I have to focus on. I can refer them to our social worker. Okay. And so she will handle that. And then we have an outside agency. They have therapists that will actually meet with our students and talk to them. So that's one thing I do like. I'm at a charter school. So that's one of the things I do like about our charter school is that we have a whole division that focuses on the mental health. And this way I can focus on the college and career part of it.
Okay.
So I would say, and we have it for our middle school and our elementary school as well. And I know all schools can't do that. But I would say just have compassion for the young people. I have a friend who she's a grandmother and she's trying to navigate it with her 2 grandsons. And, we make jokes on Tuesdays and Thursdays that she's the principal and the lunch lady. But it's also frustrating because she's sharing a space with her grandsons, but she's also trying to do her job as well. So, and she's always fussing because the teacher is always texting her daughter saying, "Oh, your son is asleep," or your son. She's like, "I'm trying to work. I can't, I can't navigate these kids, do my job as, So I can only imagine some of the frustration that families are going through. But just reach out to your school and let them know they should have some supports in place.
Awesome. Yes, I did. When I did my undergrad at University of Maryland Eastern Shore and Salisbury University, I went to school for social work. So my internship was actually at a middle school. It was Salisbury Middle School, and we did a piece of that mental health part, a piece of the mental health, but this counseling piece of it. So we did like an anger management group for the children, helping them to deal with their emotions and feelings, different other groups as needed, working out peer mediation, because they're growing up and then they're going back and forth with different things. She took my friend, she took my man, things that sort. Well, man, boy, because they're young. But then like fundraisers and things of that sort. So at first I was like, I don't think I want to be a school counselor because it didn't seem like it was fulfilling, because you can't take the kids out of class all day long. But when they come, it's being there in those moments. And that was the most rewarding part of being at that school and being able to support those children. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, she most definitely needs to have some support systems in place for the young people, for sure.
And I love that at your school, they have the mental health piece as well as that other piece where it's not the same person. The blend is separate, but still getting the services that the child needs and looking out for that. So that's awesome. Hats off. So in helping, the child or the youth with the college or the trade school, what are some pointers that you would offer to support someone?
So for students who are interested in pursuing anything post-secondary, especially college, I would say look at some college support programs that you can do now. So for instance, like Community College of Philadelphia, they offer opportunities for high school students to take college courses now and get the experience of what it's like to be a college student. And the classes are pretty reasonable. They are less than $100. So if you have a student that's a junior or a senior and they want to see what college is like, but they're going to earn real college credit, and you have to make sure that if you put your student in the dual enrollment program, that you are aware that they are building their college transcript. So they can't go just try college. So if they do dual enrollment, the advanced college program, they literally, whatever they earn, they keep. So they get an F, they have an F on their transcript, and you got to be careful with that because it can impact your financial aid. But they do also have a summer program called the ACE Summer Program, and that's for students in grades 9 through 12. And that's where you could try college because you, if you can earn an A, B, or C, you get college credit. But if you earn anything below a C, then you just participated in that program. So I would say, get your students in programs like that with CCP. You can get them in a TRIO program. If it's a TRIO program attached to their school, like a talent search program or upward bound program. There's also the college education fund. They have different programs for students. There's just so many different programs out there. College Possible. It's so many different programs out there for low income first generation students, for students in general, that they can participate in that will assist them in preparing them for the college process or trade school, because everybody doesn't want to go to college, so they can prepare for trade school as well.
So when you say the dual learner, that's what it's called?
Dual enrollment.
Dual enrollment. Okay. So a dual enrollment, I'm also enrolled in high school, but I'm also taking this course that could give me the college credits. Pretty nice. Is it like the same day as my school classes, or a different day, or it kind of works with your schedule?
So you pick your own courses.
Okay.
So if so you can do Tuesday, Thursday after school at 4:30.
Okay.
Some schools allow you to take dual enrollment classes in place of your classes at school. So you might take your math at CCP, but you get dual credit. You're getting credit at the high school and you're getting a college credit from CCP.
Very nice.
So it really depends on your high school principal and how they decide how dual enrollment can be. Some schools are like, no, you cannot, do it during your school time. So then you might have to take a Saturday class or a night class.
Okay.
But you pretty much dictate your schedule, and you're in classes you might be in a class with a 60-year-old. So depending on what course you take, you may be in class with other adults. I'm sure you will be in class with another adult. But if you did the ACE summer program, that's specifically for just high school students. So you will be with all high school students from across Philadelphia. Sometimes we have students that come from internationally. We have had students from Italy and stuff like that. They come to Philly for the summer and they can take classes in the program as well. It's open to anyone.
Okay. So it's open to anybody. Anybody could go. Some of the programs, but then some are specifically for the high school students. And you can work out with your schedule, what works best for you.
Yep.
So you've also worked in the college level, at colleges and things of that sort. So we also have some older students on the call, on the live. So I guess my question is, if I got a GED or it wasn't like the official high school diploma, does that prohibit me from going to college or a trade school?
No, because the GED is like a high school diploma. So if you had a GED, that's fine. If you like, community college is probably the best way to go because they have so many different programs for people. If you don't have a GED, there are programs out there as well. There's a program called what is it called? It'll come back to me. But there's a program in West Philadelphia that I used to work with when I was doing something at CCP. They help adults get their high school diploma by taking classes at CCP. So you can earn up to 30 college credits, and they'll pay for it. It's out of the Goodwill. It's a Goodwill that does it. And if you get the 30 credits, then it will become your high school diploma. You apply to the state, so on and so forth. But you also earn 30 college credits. So that's an excellent program, and it's out of West Philadelphia. When it comes to me, I'll let you guys know what it is because it just slipped my mind. But that's something that adults that don't have a high school diploma can do. And then, of course, CCP has all kinds of programs. If you want to take non-credit courses, you can do workforce development. But like I'm doing a promotion for CCP. They have all kinds of programs. And then there's also a program, it's called Gateway. And it's for students ages 16 through 21. And with the Gateway program, it's for students who have dropped out of school and they decide, you know what, I want to go back. They may have already have some high school credits, and they say, you know, I want to go back and I want to finish my high school diploma. They can be a part of the Gateway program. And my good friend Monifa, she's the director over there at CCP. And you'll take a placement test, and then you would, if you qualify, then you can actually get your high school diploma through CCP and earn college credit. So there are a lot of programs out there for students who dropped out and want to drop back in, and for adults who want to finish school as well.
Got it. That's good to know. So we have a question. Melissa said, what can you do if you want to go to college, but you're not able to pass the placement test?
So if you're unable to pass the placement test, I would say they're going to put you on remedial courses. So if you're at like a CCP and you don't pass the placement test, they'll put you in some courses to build up your ability to take the test, and then you can retest. So that's one of the ways you can do it. A lot of colleges, like I said, they'll put you on remedial courses. When I was at Delaware State University, we actually had a program called, oh God, we had the Jumpstart program, and we had, it'll come to me, but we had another program right now. We had another program which was for students who were provisionally permitted or admitted. And what would happen is that you had to have a 2.0 GPA by the end of your freshman year, and then we will admit you into Delaware State University. So you have colleges that have different programs. You have the state system colleges may have an Act 101 program.
Okay.
So I would say keep trying. If, like I said, at CCP, they might put you in like an ABE program where you would have to build up your English and your math, because basically it's just your English and your math that they're looking at. But also at CCP right now, in a lot of schools, they're test optional, which means you do not have to take the SAT or ACT, but they're looking at your GPA.
Okay.
So I would say look and see what the test optional requirements are. A lot of times it's a 3.0 GPA, and then you may be able to get into the school that way. So it's almost easier now to get into college if you have a great GPA, what before. But if you wanted to do something like a STEM major, if you wanted to major in like mathematics, or you wanted to be a nurse or something like that, they're still requiring you, most schools are still requiring you to take the SAT or ACT. For general majors like business, education, non-STEM related majors, they're looking at your GPA. So I would say do your research. Find out what schools are test optional. Is a lot of them. Is a whole list. All you gotta do is put test optional schools in your search bar, and they will all pop up, and you'll be able to see the schools that you don't need a test score for at this point.
So that's good. So I have a question for that before I go to our next question. If say I graduated a couple years ago and test anxiety, so I don't want to take the placement test and things of the sort, and they would still go off my GPA?
It depends. At some schools, after 2 years, you can retake it. You can retake the placement test, like your scores are good for 2 years, and then you retake. So it depends on the school. I would say look at the school and see what their requirements are. And like I said, right now, during this season, with everything being test optional, it may work in your favor because a lot of schools are not requiring the placement test. You can always look the placement test up and take a sample test. It's like AccuPlacer. Most schools use the AccuPlacer, and there's apps out there to show you how to do it. They give you sample questions. A lot of times students do not go and look at the apps and look at the questions to get an idea of what the tests are. The questions are sample questions from previous tests. So they're not fictitious questions that have never been used before. They actually just go back from tests years ago, and they create this sample list from a previous test. So you're actually getting an idea of what the test looked like based upon what they did in the past. So I recommend that you go to AccuPlacer and get you a sample test or take a sample test so you can see what it looks like.
Awesome. And I just searched it right in the Google bar, and it definitely came up with some tests that you could just take and try, continue to practice to familiarize yourself with that. So her follow-up question was, is it possible to go in without taking a placement test? And you said, yes, that it is.
Yeah. So right now, because everybody's test optional, a lot of schools are test optional. Yes, you do not have to take the placement test. They're going to look at your GPA. And like I said, most of them are requiring a 3.0 GPA. So just go to their website. Like CCP has it right on their website. A lot of the schools do. I actually just did a test optional search, me and my coworker, because we were gathering it for our students to see what school they qualify for. So it's a lot of information out there on test optional schools right now.
Awesome. Good to know. So as we shared earlier, people can email you, talk to you, things like that. And I'm always asking some questions as I talk to parents. And one of the recent conversations we had was about a child wanting to go to school and getting accepted to some schools, but that fee for going to that school was pretty steep. So can we talk a little bit about options for that? I know you told me about transfer credits and transfer scholarships. I was in like, can you tell what's that?
So one of the things I had just previously talked about is taking classes now at CCP or at community college where you live at, if they offer dual enrollment, because you're going to get these classes much cheaper. But research to make sure the college you want to go to will accept the classes, because some colleges do not accept dual enrollment classes from high school students, but some do. So if you do dual enrollment, then that's one way to get a jump start on your college at a cheaper rate.
Okay.
So I would recommend that. Also, of course, you want to apply for scholarships. You're going to do the scholarships. You're going to fill out the FAFSA form and see how much money you're going to get. And then you're going to have a conversation with yourself and ask the question, can we afford to go to this school? Because you're going to, your family's going to get an EFC. So basically what your parents or your family is expected to pay. And so if you decide you want to go to a school where the EFC is like $25,000, $30,000, and you know your family can't afford that type of money, and that's your dream school, you may have to decide that I have to wait. And some of the ways you can do it is going to a community college. You'll go to a community college. Community CCP is about $7,000 a year. So if you're saying you're paying less than $10,000, 2 years you'll have associate's degree. And then transfer your credits over. They have a lot of schools that they have agreements with where they want all of your credits. So like Drexel, they have a Blue Gold Connections program with Drexel where they take all of your credits. They have some other schools. I believe they have something with Rutgers now, which is one of their newest schools. Most of the state system schools. But if you go on CCP's website, you'll find out the schools that they have the partnership with. Okay. And that's another way. And you'll have 2 degrees. You'll have an associate's degree, and then in 2 more years, you'll have a bachelor's degree. So that's a cheaper route to do it if you don't get scholarships. So I would say just look at your options. One thing, I had a student in the past who really, really wanted to go to, I worked at University of Delaware, and she really wanted to go to University of Delaware really bad. And she had a full ride to another college. And so I talked to someone in financial aid, and pretty much they could give her more loans. But the recommendation was to tell her to take the full ride at the other school. And then if she wanted to come back and go to UD for graduate school, then that would probably be the better option for her. So you got to really sit down and weigh what's best for you and for your family.
And that's big right there, a full ride. I guess it wasn't this year, it was maybe last year. My niece and nephew, the twins, they graduated from Overbrook. And hearing so many of the students getting scholarships, hearing so many of them getting full rides, I'm like, please take advantage of that, because them loans is no joke, you know? But sometimes they are stuck on the school they want to go to. So they don't take the full ride and then have to pay those fees and things of that sort. So...
Yeah. I mean, keep in mind, you got to pay that money back. So the ultimate goal is getting the degree. And so I would say, just think about it. I don't want to tell somebody, oh, don't go to your dream school because you can't afford it. But I want to say, look at your options and just think about what other ways can I go to this school if my family cannot pay this bill. And community college is most definitely one way where you can go somewhere for 2 years and pay less than $20,000, have a degree, and get a good GPA, so you can get a transfer scholarship. So it's not too late to get a scholarship. You can get a transfer scholarship. So bust your butt in your 2-year college, get your high GPA, apply to your dream school, and see if they offer a transfer scholarship, and then get your transfer scholarship and go over to the next school for the next 2 years.
Awesome. So as a ninth grader, what are the things I need to do to prepare for either college or trade school?
So for a ninth grader?
Yeah.
One thing I would say as a ninth grader, get to know your guidance counselor. A lot of times students wait until their senior year to get to know their school counselor, and that's too late. A lot of opportunities come across the desk of a school counselor, and of course you're going to give it to who you know. Everybody in the top 10%, they're going to get their just due because they're in the top 10%. But say you're in the middle. If a guidance counselor or school counselor, I'm dating myself saying guidance counselor, but they say school if a school counselor knows you and something comes up, they'll be like, oh yeah, Jen, she'll be a good fit for this. So I would say starting your freshman year, start talking to your school counselor. Get to know your school counselor. Okay. Have a conversation with them. Take advantage of the programs that are offered. There's so many different opportunities out there for students to take advantage of being prepared for college, getting prepared for a trade school. You have a lot of companies that will have like job opportunities in the summer, so you can make sure you get a summer job. You can try to do an internship. So you can you want to make sure you start building relationships with people because networking is the key. Start networking early. If your mom or dad works at a job or your doctor, you want to be a doctor, you go to the doctor's office, talk to your doctor. Can I have an internship? Can I follow you for the day? Things like that. So you can begin to get exposure because you may get exposure and say, you know what, I want to be a nurse. I really don't like blood. So that's not for me.
Right.
So I would say get exposure early.
Awesome. And that's for either college or trade school, finding out what it is that you want to do.
College or trade school. At my school, we have our students do job shadows early on. We have them do all types of assessments to find out what they're interested in. And then we go through the 16 clusters so they can see what each cluster is like. And then something like I didn't realize that I could do this. I could still, do like say they're interested in computers, and then like say I always wanted to fix the computer. I never thought about creating one or designing one. So while I'm going through the 16 clusters, they get to see all the different options. You can go to, I think it's occupational. I want to say occupational. See if I can find it.
It's good to know.
Yeah, it's a oh, here you go. I just went back, but it's the occupational handbook. You can actually go into the occupational handbook, and it's bls.gov, and they actually show you so many different jobs and. Just do your research, but that's one of the places you can go. And I actually have our students go there and they can put computers in, they can see all the different options they have. And it just blows their mind. Like, oh my God, I don't just have to focus on this aspect of computers. There's so many other things.
Yes. That's the most amazing part. And it's great to start in 9th grade or 10th grade to figure out what it is you want to do, because there's so many people that go to college and in their first year, now I'm undecided. 2 years undecided, where you're still trying to find out what it is that you want to do. And you want to think smart, because sometimes the required courses only come but so many times. So then you're there a little longer. You're that super senior. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that is also adding on to the bill that you have at the end. So being mindful of that and trying to start early. I remember my counselor, they definitely had the book where it was the different jobs. And then it broke down, if you went to school for psychology, the different jobs you could have for that, what the pay could be for that. And again, it was just A to Z, any job you could think of, any field you could think of, where they would give you the information. So it's definitely beneficial to check in with your counselor. So that was 9th grade. Does it change for a 10th grader? What should a 10th grader be doing?
I would say you can start as early as kindergarten if you wanted to, Jennifer. I mean, when I used to teach Sunday school, and I actually had the kindergarten through, I think, like 6th grade. And I used to incorporate it in my Bible study. Okay. So I would talk about Noah and all the animals and how you can be a veterinarian. So, I mean, you can begin to instill college into young people when they can sit at the dinner table and talk about it. It's just up to the parents. I always tell parents, you can take a student to Temple. You can take a kindergartner to Temple and walk around and say, this is Temple University and this is what it looked like. Oh, this is Drexel. And so they can get an idea of what college look like and say, if this is an expectation for a family that you're going to pursue a higher education. When you go on vacation, you can always stop by college on your way. Oh, we're going to Orlando. Well, let's stop down in Daytona or wherever and check out one of the colleges nearby. So you actually incorporate that in your family vacation just to begin to expose your young people what college look like. So I'm not going to say, a lot of times we say high school, but you can do it before high school.
Okay.
Be a director for a program called the Legacy Program, and it was a talent search program. And we work with students as early as 6th grade. So our students, we would have them from 6th grade, and then if they went to the high school that we serve, we would keep them from 6th through 12th grade. And so they were exposed to college in 6th grade. We would take them on campuses and let them see the campuses. We would have professors talk to them, current college students. So I would say, don't wait. Don't wait till high school. Do it as soon as possible.
And it's such a great experience. I remember I love a different world, so I'll always root for a different world because it talked about that being a different world, going to college. I liked how they gave the aspect of, campus life, the friendships and relationships, but they also had the classroom piece where some students had struggles, going through classes, and that's really real. I'll never forget my worst class in undergrad was statistics. And in that class, getting a C felt like an A because it was no joke. But, really seeing how that life is and then getting to actually go on the campuses to see what it looks like, going on those tours, meeting the students, talking to the teachers. And I do hope to have a college fair and a sort of different people, especially from my HBCUs, coming to share some information on the opportunities that you can have. The fraternity and sorority life and things like that. Seeing that. I wasn't into that per se, but I enjoyed watching them step. Still follow some people on social media where you see them stepping and things of that sort, but just really getting to see that the brotherhood that they create, whether you're in a fraternity or not a fraternity, because there's still some friendships and bonds that you create with some lifelong friends by going to school.
Yeah, I would agree. And I would say really research the type of college you want to go to. I went to a PWI, which is a predominantly white institution. Actually, all of my degrees are from PWIs.
Okay.
But when I did work at Del State, that was my first HBCU experience. And I would say it was so family oriented. And so we really focused on building bonds and relationships with our students and making sure they knew how to navigate the system at Del State. And then when homecoming and different things like that, like the alum came back. And I understood because they have a family atmosphere. The PWIs I went to, I might have went to maybe one homecoming once I graduated because it wasn't as family oriented as a HBCU is. So I would say do your homework, try to get to see the campus, get a feel for it before your parents drop you off.
Absolutely. And doing your research. When my mom dropped me off at UMES, 5 minutes after being there, I was like, you can come get me. I'm ready. I'm so quiet. I was not used to that. I was a West Philly girl. I was hearing cop cars, ambulance, horns, beeps, kids, everything. And it was just so silent. But it was also such an amazing experience. And I know going to school in-state is awesome because you get to pay in-state fees. But going out of state was such a way to grow up. I had to learn some different things because I couldn't just have mama 2 steps away. She was a couple states away. So learning how to really manage that, but great experience nonetheless. Definitely amazing to go to HBCU. I saw the article actually today or yesterday where some students that went to HBCU because of what they went to school for, they ended up getting some nice little money. And I said, well, wait a minute, they didn't do that when I was I'm happy for them. But I'm like, if anybody want to throw some coins my way to get rid of Sally Mae, I won't complain. So I have another question. So we starting at any grade to get ready for college. Starting at any whether you're not in school anymore, you still can go to college. There's some awesome opportunities at community college. But for a student, upward bound, what is that? What are the options for it? How can somebody connect to it?
Sure. So there are programs called federal TRIO programs. And it's called TRIO programs because they started out with 3 programs back in 1965. And now there are more than 3 programs, but we still refer to them as trio programs. And so Upward Bound is one of the trio programs, one of the original trio programs that started in 1965. So they've been around for a while. Mm-hmm. And basically it's for high school students, and the goal is to get them into the college or university of their choice. And so during the summer, you may go up to a campus for 6 weeks, live on campus. You're taking classes in math, English, a foreign language, science. And then during the academic year, they may offer some courses. They may offer tutoring. It depends on how the Upward Bound program is structured. There's also another program called Upward Bound Math Science, and that's for students who are interested in STEM. So if you're interested in computer technology, any type of STEM program, then you can actually be a part of Upward Bound Math Science, and they're going to be very science focused or STEM focused. That was created, I want to say math science came around about 1990. Around that time. And the goal was because low income first generation students were not majoring in STEM. So they wanted to start getting us into STEM. So that's why they started that program as well. And then Talent Search, same thing, but that's for middle school through high school. So 6th to 12th grade. And so the goal is they're all the same. When you get to college, it's a program called Student Support Services. So there's student support services programs at various colleges across the country. All of these programs are federally funded, so they're across the country. So with the student support services program, the goal is to get you through college. So if you went to like a CCP for that SSS program, they're trying to get you through community college and into a 4-year program.
Okay.
If you went to a SSS program like at University of Delaware, their goal is to help you get your bachelor's degree at University of Delaware. Okay. And then there's another program called the McNair program. So the Ronald E. McNair program is for undergraduate students who want to pursue a doctoral degree. Okay. And so the goal is to introduce you heavily into research. So you'll do research projects. You'll go around the country presenting your posters. Very nice. They'll help you apply to a doctoral program. So that's another program that you may be interested in. Mm-hmm. Then there's Upward Bound for veterans. So any veterans, if you are a veteran from the U.S. Armed Forces, as long as you wasn't dishonorably discharged, you can be a part of the Upward Bound Veterans Program. And I believe the only one we may have in this area is at University of Pennsylvania. Okay. So if you are a veteran, you can check out the Upward Bound Veterans Programs. And of course, that's older adults as well. And then there's another program called EOC. And I don't know if we still have an EOC program in Philly, but EOC is for adults as well. They used to say 19 to 99. So 19 and over. Okay. And that is to help older adults who want to navigate the college process. All these programs are for low income and first generation students. Okay. So the goal is that when I say first generation, meaning that your parent, your mother and father, your biological parent, unless you was adopted, your adoptive parent did not get a bachelor's degree. Okay. So if your parent has an associate's degree, it's fine. You still can qualify for the program. Okay. And it's a formula. It's a 1/3, 2/3 formula. So 1/3 of the population, majority of the population has to be low income and first generation. Then a small percentage of it can be low income or first generation. Okay. And then some students, your parents can have a degree and make over $100,000. It just depends on the program and how the grant was written, because it's a grant funded program. So, okay. For us, most of these programs are tied to a specific school. The Upward Bound programs and the Talent Search programs are tied to specific schools. Mm-hmm. But Temple University's Upward Bound program is open to all students who are in a public or charter school. So if you want to be a part of Upward Bound or Upward Bound Math Science, I would say reach out to Temple University And they also have a partnership with CCP. So they were providing classes for free for their students to get college credits.
Wow.
So I would say most definitely check out Temple.
Mm-hmm.
There's also another program out there called Stepping Stones.
Okay.
Stepping Stones, they offer a lot of programming for middle school to high school students as well. So check out Stepping Stones. Got to get them a shout out because they do some phenomenal programming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there. You just gotta literally just gotta do your research, and you'll be surprised at all the different programs that are out there that you probably never heard of before that
now,
exist.
Does Upward Bound help you prepare for college or like a trade school? What are you doing in Upward Bound?
So in Upward Bound, you're taking classes. So in the summer, like I said, in the summer for 6 weeks, I was an Upward Bound director, so Upward Bound Math Science director. So for 6 weeks during the summer, my students would come up. They would take calculus. They would take a foreign language, maybe Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
It just depend on where they were. So what we would do is we would look at where they were going to be, what classes they were going to be taking the next year, and we offered them those classes in the summer. So if you were taking calculus in the fall, we gave you calculus in the summer. So when you walked into calculus in the fall, you were already prepared. So we was taking Spanish too. We gave you Spanish too. So whatever it was, we made sure that you were prepared when you walked through. So if you were in our program for 4 years, then you were always ahead of the game. But we made sure you knew everything about college, how to get into college. We helped you with all your essays. They help you with your college application fees. So that's a good way because sometimes the fees can be expensive.
They add up, you're right.
Yeah, so Upward Bound can give you fee waivers or they can pay for your fees.
Okay.
They take you on college tours. So my kids have been to Florida. We did Virginia. We've done North Carolina. So we're funded to expose you to college so you can actually go on a college tour.
Very
so yeah, I would say most definitely check out the Upward Bound program because they are funded to provide you with a lot of resources that you probably are not getting at your school.
It's nice to know that they offer it for older adults as well as not just students to get that support. Pretty cool. So I have a question for a trade school because we know college is not for everybody. Can you get scholarships to go to a trade school?
There are some scholarships for trade schools. So you just have to do a search. So you can go to Big Future. Big Future has a whole bunch of scholarships on there, including scholarships for trade schools. Also scholarships.com, tons and tons of scholarships. Educationplanner.org. So yes, they have included trade schools as well. And then you can actually reach out to the trade school and see if they're offering scholarships. But a lot of times with trade schools, you'll have, say you're interested in being an electrician, then a lot of times you'll have different unions offering scholarships. So you might want to find out what union is in the area, like if you're in Philadelphia, whatever their unions are in Philadelphia. Go to their website and see what scholarships that they're offering high school students because most unions do offer scholarships to students who are interested in the trades.
And then they might hire you, huh?
Hey, sometimes they do. And that's why it's good to get an do internships and stuff like that while you're in school.
Absolutely.
Because those internships could potentially lead to a job. That's why it's very important to network and get to know people. One of the things, a lot of jobs that I've gotten in my career was not because I applied for the job. It was because I knew somebody. So knowing people and being resourceful is very, very important. So I would say whatever you decide to do, make sure you know a lot about it. So when people begin to ask you questions, you'll be able to off the top of your head, be able to tell them all this information that they need to know because you became the expert in your field. And then you'll be surprised how people approach you about jobs oh, do you want to come to my school? Do you want to work for me? We're looking for so on and so forth. It's all about you being resourceful, being an expert in your field and knowing the right people. And then the last thing I would say is you have to be willing to give and not always take. And so there were times where I had to do some things for people, all, legitimate, but sometimes you have to do things for people for free. Um, and then people might remember you later on for an opportunity where you'll get paid. So a lot of times people are like, well, I want to get paid. I want to get paid. Sometimes you have to do some things for free. And you never know what type of opportunity that's going to open up for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You'd be surprised of the connections that you can make from that.
Right.
And being mindful of those first impressions. Like we see too many times that commercial where the person was nasty to the person that they saw in their commute. And when they got there, oh, you're the judge. Oh, you're the person I'm interviewing with. You never know who you're coming across or who may know somebody that you're coming across. Impressions matter. Impressions matter. Okay. So whether a kindergartner, middle school, high schooler, adult, super senior, what are some things that you want to definitely let us know to get support as we pursue further education options, or just, whether we're getting credits for it or not getting credits for it? What are the things that we should know?
I would say that do your research. I most definitely would say do your research. There's so many resources out there, and ask for help. Like reach out to people and ask them for help. Because especially like if you're in high school or if you're in school, talk to your teachers. All of them have been to college, so they may know somebody at the college that you're interested in because they were a student. And so you can say, I'm really interested in going to Temple. Do you know anybody in the financial aid office? Or can you make any recommendations for this major? Like you just never know. You have so many resources in front of you, but you don't think about them because you're looking at them in a different light than what you should. Look at them as a resource and a tool that can help you get to where you want to be. So utilize all the resources that are available to you. And keep in mind, like, don't get attitudes with these teachers. Don't act crazy with these employers if you're an adult, because you may, in fact, need them. Some employers have opportunities. They have scholarships and different things like that. But a lot of times you have to go to that manager for that recommendation. So they might say, we came up with this money we want to fund for our employees to go back to work. But you had to reach out to your manager in order for them to sign off on it. Well, if you're giving your manager attitude, I'll give you 60 or 70, but if you're giving your manager attitude, then you expect your manager to sign off on this document. That's probably not going to happen, right? So it's all about building relationships and being respectful and being mindful that at some point you may need to ask the person over you for a recommendation or assistance. Start early, get your recommendations early. Like my 11th graders now, I have them working on their essays now. Like their essays are going to be done by the end of October.
Very nice.
And then we're going to start working on getting recommendations, and then we're going to start looking at the careers aspect for the students who don't want to go to college. So we're going to start getting our resumes done, and we're going to start doing our cover letters. So I work with the 11th graders so this year. So my 11th graders are going to be prepared. And I told them when June comes, when next year, they're going to be able to relax in a sense of if somebody says, I need your recommendation, they're going to be able to give it to them. We're not going to have to be scrambling 12th grade year trying to get all this information. Get it now. There are scholarships available for middle school students.
Wow.
Do your research. There are scholarships available for 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade. And that's what I'm telling my 11th graders now. Go see what's out there. See what's available. Apply for it now. And apply for everything that you can apply for. You'll be surprised. A lot of times people won't apply for scholarships because of the essay. A lot of times nobody wants to do that essay. Do the essay.
It can deter you. Right? But surprisingly, if you don't apply, nobody else apply because that same reason.
They're thinking the same thing you think, and their money is sitting there. And there's a lot of money that goes wasted because Nobody wants to write the essay. Write the essay, be cool with your English teacher, have your English teacher read it. I mean, you gotta just apply. I was listening to a web yesterday. Actually a videotape one. It was one of my former students, and she was talking about giving. Well, she was talking about tithing. I just caught my attention because I was like, "What's Diana talking about tithing or whatever?" And she just talked about tithing and the importance of giving, so on and so forth. And she got the Gates Millennium Scholarship when she graduated, so she got a full ride. And then she got all these other scholarships. So when she went to school, she was actually getting checks back. So they were literally paying her to go to college. And she was in my Upward Bound Math Science program at University of Delaware, and she started in 9th grade. And she did what she needed to do academically. And then she talked about her spiritual component with the tithing piece and how she wanted for nothing. They were literally paying her to go to school. So she was saying how her siblings have student loan debt. She has no debt because she had applied the principle of tithing even in high school, because that's something that her mom instilled in all of them. And she was one of the ones who took hold to it. And as she worked at McDonald's, she was paying her tithes or whatever. So it was really, really interesting. And now she has her own nonprofit where she actually raised over $500,000 to help students in Africa, because she's African. She's from Ghana. And she's been helping students from Africa get into college and navigate that college process. So that's one of my superstars. And so I would just say that, just do the work, get the help, join the programs, ask for assistance, network, and things should work in your favor.
Awesome. I definitely wish and hope that, students do take heed to that, do get to know their counselor. As you shared, when you know the counselor, they think of you when things come up. I can't tell you how many times my counselor, oh, here, Jennifer, I was in her office. I knew where her office was. Let me help you clean up. I'm cleaning up her area so that I'm seeing different things, or like seeing the postings that she has to stay in the know of the different things that are available. So it definitely comes in handy of knowing who your counselor is, knowing your teachers, and your teachers knowing you. It's more than just going to the class, but really having a conversation, because like you said, they have some connects too that you'd be surprised that they can help you out with. Sometimes you need a reference letter. What teacher are you going to? Getting that done. So that's pretty awesome. I do hope that some information that was shared was beneficial to our listeners out there, those that were watching, those that will watch, those that will share, because this is really good information for us to know whether you are a toddler or adult. There are some services for you where you too can go to school. You too can gain some skills. CCP has some free courses, and you can get some credits for some courses, and you'd be surprised what they have. It's like Harvard has some free courses. Some Ivy League schools have some free courses where you can become certified in some different areas. So, like she said, do your research. So awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Cindy.
No problem. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, I do. Thank you so much again. I'm going to share your email again. You can email her at cindy.legree@gmail.com for any questions as it relates to college or trade school or the counselor. She knows the stuff. She's been doing this for a little while. So be sure to just reach out if you have any questions. And again, thank you so much for joining me on tonight.
Thanks for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Thanks, and we'll talk to you later.
All righty.
All right. So that was awesome. I had fun. I hope you had fun too. I want to give you some resources because it's our back to school month. So our first resource is Give Kids Sight Day. It is coming up. It will be Saturday, October 10th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You want to call ahead to make an appointment for this free eye care and eyeglasses virtual event for children ages 6 to 17. They do this every year. Again, this is a free event for children ages 6 to 17 from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday, October 10th. Give Kids Sight Day. So if you need some glasses, need to get your eyes checked, you can go right there. I'll be sure to post that as well. Another resource that I want to share, NACAC will be hosting a virtual college fair. Each fair is free. On the day of the event, they have 3 more coming up. I'll be sure to post this as well. You can attend as often as you like. And to sign up, you want to just visit virtualcollegefairs.org. Again, so some college fairs that are coming up. If you know somebody that does want to go to college, they have over 100 colleges that are going to be at those events virtually to be able to share some information. You want to know about where you want to go. My nephew just went away today to Arizona, one of those states. But, I wish him well. But again, you want to know where you're going, find out some questions, talk to some people that are there so they can tell you some information, the good, bad, and the ugly. And you ask them for the good, bad, and ugly. Because if they're promoting the school, they're going to tell you all the good. But we know other stuff may happen too. But again, believe in yourself and you can do good wherever you do go. So again, please do join me next week as we will head to the principal's office with Danielle Crawford-Burrows and Daya Jackson as they will help us close out our Back to School series. So join us next Monday the 28th at 8 p.m. again as we head to the principal's office. Gonna be fun. I got something else for you. As always, we want to hear from you. So if there's a topic or a resource that you want me to bring, please let me know. Or if you know somebody that would be amazing to come on, let me know. I'll talk to them too. So email me at chosencounselorsinc@gmail.com. Again, you can email me at chosencounselorsinc@gmail.com. So again, tonight we had the counselor's office. Next week, we're going to the principal's office. But be sure to plan to attend this is September, October. Get my months mixed up. It's been too long. October, we're going to have our Getting Your House in Order. We're going to talk about fitness, fire safety, credit repair, and if you want to purchase a home. So be sure to join us again when we come back in October. It's going to be amazing. So again, I want to share one more time the Give Kids Sight Give Kids Sight Day, Saturday, October 10th from 9 to 5, as well as some virtual college fair. Please check out these resources. Share them with somebody that would benefit from it. Guess what? I made it. We made it through. Was that all my stuff? I think that's all my stuff. Thank you again so much for joining us. I love you for real. Guess what? She graduated! Until next time.